So here are those 12 promises I've been talking about, the 12 promises of the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ. I will give them all the graces necessary in their state of life. Number 2, tying families. I will give peace in their families, and will unite families that are divided. I will console them in all their troubles. I will be their refuge during life, and above all, in death. I will bestow the blessings of heaven on all their enterprises. Sinners shall find in my heart the source and infinite ocean of mercy. Once again, tying with that year of mercy and also devotion to the divine mercy. Tepid souls shall become fervent. Fervent souls shall rise quickly to great perfection. Number 9 here of First Fridays. I will bless those places wherein the image of my Sacred Heart shall be exposed and honored, and will imprint my love on the hearts of those who would wear this image on their person. I will destroy in them all disordered movements. How many times do we hear in the confessional someone saying, I have confessed this sin for years, decades, and I'm still struggling with it? How about a time where they can actually conquer it? Here's that strong, beautiful promise that it can be done. Number 10, tying with priests. I will give to priests who are animated by a tender devotion to my divine heart the gift of touching the most hardened hearts. And I think what's awesome with that one is that notice it doesn't just say Catholic hearts, it says hardened hearts, everyone's heart. And so it doesn't matter if the person is Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, and we may be able to encounter them on a level that they had never encountered God before, however it is that they pray to God. And in relating to them, be able to connect them more intimately with God, most beautifully through His most sacred heart. I think with this promise, we can also hear it resonating with the sacrament of confession. And maybe in the sacrament of confession, if we have this devotion to the Sacred Heart, we can actually trigger that question, that statement, for that one soul, that penitent, male or female, that they have been holding on to for so long. They probably didn't even realize they were holding on to something. Didn't realize why their hearts were restless, why they were never having true peace. And by the beauty of devotion to the Sacred Heart, the graces that can come with this promise right here, as His living instruments, we may be able to touch that heart in a way that they had never been touched before, and thus drawing them closer to God. Number 11, those who promote this devotion shall have their names written in my heart, never to be effaced. I think that's pretty good. Your name being written on the heart of God Himself. I promise you, in the excessive mercy of my heart, that my all-powerful love will grant to all those who communicate on the first Friday in 9 consecutive months the grace of final penitence. They will not die in disgrace, nor without receiving their sacraments. My divine heart shall be their safe refuge in this last moment. I believe I misspoke earlier, but here we hear of First Fridays and that tradition that sprung from it. The benefits for the priesthood from the Sacred Heart devotion. St. John Vianney, that awesome priest, patron of priests, as he is quoted, the priest continues the work of redemption on earth. If we really understood the priest on earth, we would die, but not of fright, but out of love. The priesthood is the love of the heart, where we get to the hearts of those that we administer to. And what better way to get at their hearts than first being connected with the heart of God? Once again, repeating that promise, I will give to priests who are animated by a tender devotion to my divine heart the gift of touching the most hardened hearts. I can already say that for me, I started this this journey, I've taken on this role. And already I can say that in the sacrament of confession, for myself, that's already come to fruition for me. And it's only been 3 months. I'm not saying every confession, but nonetheless, it has happened already. Your own love for Christ will undoubtedly increase. I mean, how can it not? Here we are encountering the heart of Jesus Christ, as lots of poetry, Shakespeare, lots of beautiful works, certainly scriptures point out. When you get at the heart of someone, you're really getting at the core of who they are. And so getting at the core of the Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ, we get to understand God even more, get to understand ourselves even more, and we get to bring that all beautifully outward together as His living instruments, as priests, so that we may indeed help God's people, God's kingdom here on earth. The increase of your love for Christ is only going to help you become a better, and without a doubt, a holier priest. Holier priests do one thing extremely, and I would even say exceptionally well. They save souls. This beautiful prayer card on this slide, starting from the bottom up. If the priest is mediocre, his people will be bad. If the priest is fair, his people will be mediocre. If the priest is good, his people will be fair. If the priest is holy, his people will be good. If the priest is a saint, his people will be holy. As priests of Jesus Christ, I think it's safe to say that we all want to aim for that top one. If the priest is a saint, his people will be holy. Overall, we will be able to help save more souls for God's kingdom. And that is one, if not the primary goal for us as priests. That as people draw more into the knowledge of God, draw more into a loving relationship with God, living out their lives as intentional disciples, we're helping them to save their souls more and more every day. An important part to the devotion to the Sacred Heart as a priest is to live a life like Jesus Christ. Yes, self-explanatory. The day-to-day tasks that we go through, they're obvious. Now it's our task to bring that Sacred Heart of Christ into our lives, especially in the monotonous moments and the difficult moments. However, like Christ, we need to remember that we need to have some fun too. You can have that with this devotion. It comes out more. And a great example I like to go to is think of the wedding at Cana. I mean, it's a wedding. God was there. Jesus Christ, His mother, the Blessed Virgin Mary, was there. Wedding feasts for the Jews at that time lasting 5 to 7 days. It was a great time of merriment, a great time of joy. Of course, Christ enjoyed Himself there. And of course, His Sacred Heart was there. Just wanting to enjoy this great moment, this beautiful moment in this newly wedded couple's lives. It's also good to have some silly fun, however form that may take.